You just left a meeting with Ursula von der Leyen. I'd like to talk a little bit about what you discussed, what you're trying to achieve here while you're in Brussels, and what sort of your priorities are in the sort of meetings that you've had with various officials so far.
Thank you so much. We have very fulfilled agenda of our cooperation with European Commission, with European Union, and today's and yesterday's meetings were very productive, very pragmatic. We discussed our cooperation in different spheres, in innovations, in defense innovations. We discussed cooperation in sphere of continuous of our existing agreements. I also raised the issues of implementation, Ukraine's legislation, implementation reforms, and future membership of Ukraine in European Union. It's very important for us to open all 6 clusters during this year, negotiation clusters, and to begin negotiations during this year. We hope that during the first half of the year it will be 3 clusters, and in the second half of the year another 3 clusters.
Do you anticipate that that Hungary is going to make that a little bit more difficult? Did you get some reassurance from Ursula von der Leyen and some of the other leaders here in Brussels?
We have difficulties on all our way to European Union, but we always go through these difficulties, and I believe and I'm sure that we will find solutions how to go through all of these difficulties and challenges.
And some of the agreements that you've signed while you're here in Brussels, can you detail some of those and sort of what the value of those are in terms of dollars?
Yesterday we have signed 3 agreements with European investment banks. Total value is 300 million euros. It's agreements about energy sector, it's about water supplying for regions of Ukraine which were suffered because of the Russian aggression. It was about centralized heating in Ukraine. It's also connected with recovery of Ukraine with destroyed heating stations in Ukraine by Russians. So it's very important support for Ukraine. Plus we signed 2 another agreements, totally 5 agreements. Yesterday were concluded and signed. The fourth agreement is for mutual medical procurement, and 5th agreement is about cooperation in Copernicus project. It's space cooperation for Ukraine with European Union.
And as you are still fighting a real war on the ground, now the world is sort of fighting a trade war that we've had a lot of news out. Is this going to make things more difficult for Ukraine because the world is so distracted with what's going on right now and sort of destabilized economically?
We are very grateful to the European Union for support financially and economically Ukraine. So we have some directions of support. We have Ukraine facility instrument which supports us during this full-scale aggression from Russia's side. We have macro-financial support according to ERA loan in amount of 18 billion euros totally from its European part, and it's in a price of windfall incomes from frozen Russian assets, immobilized Russian assets, and these amounts support Ukraine macro-financially and help save our stability.
And another one of the sort of support measures that the EU has had for Ukraine is to lift tariffs of goods that are moving from Ukraine to the EU. Do you expect that that deal will be continued this year?
So we are in negotiation process with changes to the association agreement, Article 29. So it's very important for us, for our economy during this war. We also raised this topic with Ursula von der Leyen, with all the commissioners, and we agreed to very intensively consultate between our sides, between Ukraine and European Commission next weeks, how to implement continuation of these special measures for Ukrainian businesses which cooperate, which trade with the European Union.
And I wanted to get an update from you as well, because we also had some news this week from President Zelensky saying that they had discovered some Chinese combatants on the battlefield working for Russia. Can you give us a little bit more information about what we know about these people? Were they soldiers? What function were they serving?
2 days ago, we have captured 2 Chinese persons in Russian uniform on the battlefield. So we have their documents. We understand and we know that they are Chinese citizens. China citizens, and it's important that according to our data and according to data which President Zelensky yesterday announced, we know about 155 China citizens there on the battlefield on the Russian side. We send a note and ask Ministry of Foreign Affairs of China to explain the situation. They explained publicly that officially they don't know nothing about these persons and they don't send these persons to Russian army. So we continue negotiate, continue speak with China partners about this situation. When we will have more information, we will share it.
And I'd like to also get an update, if you are able to give us any information on where we are at the U.S., the minerals deal that is being discussed right now. I understand there are envoys on their way to Washington, D.C. right now to have a discussion. Do you have an idea of what the timeline is looking like for this agreement?
So we have the first draft of agreement, first draft of proposal from the United States this week. I think not later than tomorrow. Our special technical working group will goes to the United States for technical negotiations with Treasury working group, with specialists on the technical conditions of this agreement. I think it will take next week, so we will continue these consultations and we're looking for the best solution. So there are some important principles which are important for Ukraine. So this agreement can't hurt our European aspirations and can't hurt our association agreement with European Union. So this is number one red line which we communicate to all of our partners. It's important. So other issues are connected with Ukrainian constitutions, with international legislation. In the end of the day, it will be international agreement which should be ratified in parliaments of our countries. So I think it will take some time, but we are very intensively cooperate with United States, and I will repeat, our technical specialists, our lawyers will go to United States for very concrete negotiations in person.
Okay, great. And then another question about the sort of military aid coming from the United States. You're still benefiting from aid that was given by the Biden administration. I'd like to get a sense of how much of that aid is left and at what point you're going to have to come back to the United States and talk about another deal.
So you're right. Now we have some support from United States. This support is going to Ukraine according to existing agreements. So we now have negotiations about next steps, but it's still on its way. So there is no additional information for the last weeks and days. But we understand that we have much closer cooperation with European Union, with European Commission. Now we have negotiate about additional financial resources for 2 million big caliber rounds for artillery. We also negotiate about additional supplying and additional production by our joint venture military equipment and ammunition to support Ukraine. So it arises our mutual production and supplying everything what Ukrainian defense forces needs today on the battlefield.
And then, of course, the stated ambition of the Trump administration is to end the war in Ukraine. There have been steps made in that direction in terms of this partial ceasefire. Has Russia been respecting this partial ceasefire?
You may see it yourself on daily basis. We, as no one else in this world, would like to stop this war immediately, but only the one person may stop it, Putin, who begins this war, and only on his side is to stop this war in 1 second. So as for now, Ukraine from our side is absolutely reliably goes to this 30 days ceasefire in some directions. But you may see on daily basis how Russia continue attack Ukraine from the air, on the ground, and you may see this absolutely terrible terroristic attack on the playground where 9 children were killed by ballistic missile Iskander-M, which were launched from Russian territory into Ukrainian playground, into the living area, and many civilians have died, many have injured. So this is demonstration how Russia is saving this regime of ceasefire, as they name it.
And then in terms of the further steps of negotiation, do you have any idea when there might be assembled another team to discuss the next steps from the United States with Ukraine, U.S. with Russia, and indeed potentially Ukraine with Russia? Do we have a timeline for when those next discussions could happen?
You know, Ukraine has its own plan of our president, so peace formula. It's absolutely clear according to the UN Charter, according to the international legislation. There is very clear steps how should we move into ahead. So we have some formed delegation of Ukraine which participate in Saudi Arabia in negotiations from Ukrainian side. So we understand that now the ball is on the side of Russia. They should take decision how should they move. We don't know are they ready or no, because there is no clear signals from their side. So we hope that our American partners will push them or will implement sanction policy much stronger, much tougher than existing.